The chapel was dark but not empty. Candles flickered low on the altar, casting long shadows on the stone walls. Eleanor and Father Alric were deep in conversation. "I need to know what you've seen," she said quietly. He hesitated, then pulled a folded parchment from his robes. "Ledgers," he said. "Donations, trades, names. Scrubs has friends. Men who pay well to keep things quiet." Eleanor scanned the document. A name caught her eye. Then another. Some she recognized from the market stalls, one from the magistrate's office. "There's a cellar," Alric added. "I've only seen it once. Locked door, iron rings in the stone." She looked up at him. "You've known this whole time?" "I suspected," he said, shame flickering in his eyes. Outside, the wind howled along the cliffs as a massive storm front hit the coast. At last, Alric said, "If you're ready," he said, "I'll help you. I'll help them." Then, turning to the chapel door, she whispered, "We start tonight. Get word to the children. They will be free tonight." The apothecary was dim when Eleanor returned, the scent of dried lavender and ash still clinging to the air. But something was wrong. The fire was lit, and there were two men waiting for her. They stood near the back wall, flanking her workbench, rough coats, worn boots, and pistols drawn. The older one, a rough old boat captain, tilted his head. "Evening, Miss Quinn, or should we say, the rider of Hawthorne Hill?" The younger one just stood there, chuckling to himself. Eleanor's breath didn't catch, not visibly. She met their gaze with unnerving calm. "Well," she said, "you gentlemen have certainly caught me. But I'm afraid there's not much you can do about it until dawn." She glanced toward the window. The younger man frowned. "Why's that?" "You can't collect a bounty until the office opens," she shouted. "And it won't until sunrise." The two looked at each other, then, begrudgingly, nodded. The older one holstered his weapon. "Fine. Then make us something warm. It's cold as death out there." Eleanor gave a polite smile. "Of course." She turned to her bench. Her hands moved carefully, precisely. Herbs, steam, a soft clink of ceramic. She stirred 2 mugs of tea, laced with just enough valerian to send a bear to sleep. The men sipped. The air thickened. She waited. 10 minutes passed before their heads began to nod. One slumped sideways, the other blinked in confusion before collapsing forward with a thud. "They'll be asleep for hours," she murmured. And then she vanished into the night, heading to meet Alric beneath the cliffs. The storm had rolled in by dusk. Wind howled down the narrow alleys, rattling shutters and drowning footsteps. The streets of Mercy Bay emptied. No one lingered when the sea turned foul. Eleanor met Alric near the cliffs. "Are they ready?" she asked. The boy got word to them. "They'll meet us through the old tunnel beneath the chapel." They moved quickly, ducking through back lanes and along shadowed fences until the orphanage loomed in view. A grand, grim house with drawn curtains and a rusted gate. One by one, the children emerged from the cellar's rear exit. Small shapes huddled against the rain. Some limped, some held hands. Eleanor and Alric led them through the lower cliffs, a path slick with moss and barely wide enough for 2. Lantern light bounced off wet stone. The sea roared below. Suddenly, A shout rang out behind them. Torches flared. Mr. Scruggs had found them. "Faster! To the caves!" She grabbed the smallest child and hoisted him onto her back, her boots slipping but steady. They reached the sea caves, where a small smuggler's boat bobbed wildly against the rocks. The captain, a friend of Alric's from long ago, waved them aboard without a word. Lightning cracked across the sky. The first child leapt aboard, then another, and another. But Scruggs was closing in. Eleanor turned back, pistol drawn, face hard. "This ends here, not with them."